2.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. I hope you guys are all doing well. You are in the live chat. We do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform we're utilizing tonight. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. All right, guys, so we're back. It is Wednesday night, and you know what we've got. We've got Big John's in the building. He's going to be my co-host for tonight. Ernie has some business to take care of, family business, and we will welcome him back next week. But right now, we do have Big John in the co-pilot chair. How you doing, John?
Well, I'm doing well. I'm the co-pilot.
You're the co-pilot tonight. Yep, that's right. A lot of responsibility for that, John.
Yeah, I know. Well, you got to keep me on topic.
Oh boy, yeah, on topic. Guys, we gave you guys a list of things that we were going to talk about in the next few weeks, and we're still going to get to that. But unfortunately, some things have come to the forefront, and we're going to talk tonight about birthing pangs and about how the things that we're experiencing right now, about how it could possibly be leading up to us going into the time of troubles or time of some sorrows or tribulation, whatever you want to call it. I just do want to tell you guys about, if you don't know what a birthing pang is, it's a regularly recurrent spasm of pain that is characteristic of childbirth. In Matthew chapter 24, birth pangs is also translated to mean birth pains or sorrows, a metaphor used to describe the increasing intensity and frequency of difficult events leading up to a significant event, most often associated with the end of times and the return of the Messiah. It's also called, like I said, the time of sorrows. It includes wars, famines, earthquakes, deception, the Antichrist, uprising, civil unrest, plagues, pestilence. It's a sign that it's not really a sign in itself. It's a sign of things that are approaching. And with the laboring and childbirth, these things get more frequent and more intense. And that's what we're seeing, aren't we, John?
Yeah, definitely. People go off the sayings of like wars and earthquakes, and it's almost like, how can you really tell if that's not, if that's like timing of the Lord rather than somebody causing an earthquake with a machine? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just discussed this before we went on the air, and I said, that I wanted to tell people that there's a lot of signs, and this is one of the topics that we're going to be talking in the next few weeks, is whether or not we are in Satan's little season, whether or not our history has been completely put upside down and on its tail, and we've already gone through the 1,000-year reign, and we are in Satan's little season. So whether or not we aren't really, it doesn't matter, because regardless, they're going to be playing out the book of Revelation anyways. And you know what's funny, John, is I've been saying this for years, that they use this as a playbook.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm sure they have so many different writings or even the technology from the fallen. I mean, when they told Jesus, it's not yet our time. He told that to the ones he put into the pigs. They told him, well, it's not our time yet. So are you here to torment us? So they have a timeline to them. And it's not to say that all the stuff that, we could talk about with how advanced they were, maybe even on other, planets, that they could have something to, that looked at a timeline, or they could manipulate it, maybe mirror it to trick people. Not, they can't necessarily, take it over, because obviously God is time. So, but yeah.
Exactly. We know that they do have that technology. I mean, they have heart, which we know darn well they're manipulating. They've all but come on CNN and told us, yes, we manipulate the weather. I mean, we know this. They've got direct energy weapons. We know they've been using them. We've seen their aftermath in Hawaii and on the West Coast. We've seen what cloud seeding did over in Dubai. We've seen what the floods have been doing here. And now we've got the earthquakes that took place over in Russia yesterday and today. We have a tsunami that hit Hawaii earlier today, and also Alaska. And so, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. And the volcanoes. Oh my gosh, I've lost count of the volcanoes that are going on right now.
Yeah, volcanoes. That's right. I saw something like that too. They talk about the Ring of Fire or whatever in the Pacific, or the Cascadia off the coast of Washington. That's a hot zone. And then, of course, Yellowstone, I guess. But, volcanoes being in the eye of people that say, well, we've seen, UFOs coming in and out of them. Volcanoes always interested me, because, in my opinion, I think like that's an entrance to something.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I was talking to Hurricane Ann earlier today, and I was talking. She's writing a book. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull a video here. She's writing another book, and we got talking about Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard and their the ritual that they did, and she's looking into portals, the places of portals, and she's found quite a few of them. She's found ones for water. She found one for earth. She found one that represents air, and it clicked. And because we were talking about L. Ron Hubbard, and I said, you might want to look into Scientology, because this place where she's writing this book about, apparently he had some ties to this place as well. And so I said, you may want to look into it. I said, because a volcano large role in Scientology. And so, looking at all of that and I don't want to say too much because, I mean, like I said, she's writing this book, but to see, to have people, the eyewitnesses, I've actually seen a few videos of them coming in and out of, I think it was in Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, the only thing I've ever really heard about a volcano from somebody that I knew was I never heard it ever again, and not even before that. But they had a dream that all the volcanoes were going off at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and Nephilim hybrids were pouring out of them. Science, all just all kinds of stuff. And
That's interesting.
And I always thought, I never forgot that. I was like, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. You guys know my son lives on the West Coast. He lives up there. He's Washington State. He lives about 30 miles from Mount Rainier, and he lives about 60 miles, I think, from Mount St. Helens. And both of them are going off. Both of them are rumbling. They've heard explosions. He sent me a picture. It was the night before last of a book that he had just gotten. He goes, "Mom, I've become a prepper." And I said, "Do you guys have a escape? Do you have a plan? Do you have an escape plan to get out of there?" And he said, "We're working on it right now." He said, and so if my son's taking it serious, because he doesn't do that stuff at all, but the government, the state government in Washington is definitely, they're putting out these warnings to people, to the residents. So something to pay attention to.
We talked earlier about Rainier, but now over 20 years ago when I was in the Army, I was stationed at I don't know. I think it's called Joint Lewis now because the McCord Air Force Base and Lewis are together now, I believe. But it was called Fort Lewis back then. But anyhow, literally our platoon leader and platoon sergeant, anybody before PT, the first thing they told us to do was go outside and look at Rainier. And they said, if you look at that mountain and there ain't no snow on it, like get ready to get out of here.
Ass and elbows. It's all, it's,
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Cascadia too. The government about 10 years ago, they started putting out pamphlets for Oregon and Washington, telling people that, the Cascadia fault line there has been building up pressure for almost a decade.
And that's the one that, like, okay, so the Puget Sound is right there, right? That's that bay. So I remember them saying that if something happened, like everything would fall into the Puget Sound, like Seattle or whatever. I forgot what cities were by it, but I could have sworn there was an aquarium I saw down there at one time. Like the aquarium was the sound, like whatever approached you could watch, like in the windows or whatever. Like that's some concrete, or whatever, however it worked. But I remember that, and they're like, man, if the earthquake happens here, because I was in an earthquake in Seattle, and I forgot what year that was. Maybe that was 01 or 02, but yeah, earthquake did hit that year, and it did some damage in Seattle. But I remember it shook us on the base. Yep, and they said if a big one happened, everything would sink around that whatever's built on that sound.
Yeah, that's a very big fault line there, and most of it is in the water. And if it does slip, it's going to have a sucking motion for the water. It'll suck it down, so all that land will cave in. All right, Ernie. Ernie said he's listening right now. He'll be on soon. I did send the link to your email, so if you didn't get it, just let me know. I'll resend it. But yeah, so it'll be that sucking motion to bring it down. All the land will fall in with it, and it's not good. And the state governments have been warning people for, like I said, close to a decade.
You ever heard of the other side? You ever heard of Yakima before? It's on the other side of Washington State. Like one side of the state's desert, pretty much. The other side's evergreen.
Right.
So if you drive up the Snohomish Pass, and this, like I said, this is over 20 years ago. When you come off the pass, there was a Flying J truck stop right there, and we had some good times there. But anyhow, you drive to Yakima. It's a training center. It's a desert area, and there was there was a hole somewhere in Yakima, and there's some stories about it. I never really. I remember hearing that in the Army, and they were like, "Well, don't go around it because, so say it's like nobody knows how deep it is." And the farmer who found it or whatever, he disappeared, and that was. I mean, that was like at that time over 20. So I don't even know what exactly the story was. Anyhow, they said that side of the state has a lot of underground things going on.
Yeah, that's everybody's talking about California and San Andreas, but they don't know about the
Yeah,
Cascadia.
anything. That's the big stuff up there. I mean, that's I've always heard. Like, no, that Cascadia thing is really bad.
What's bad about it is not only where it is, because like I said, I mean, when it collapses, when it slides, it'll try to kind of think of something like say you let down, say you have a bathtub and you have you let the water out of it, you pull the plug, and how that suck, you hear that sucking motion of the water going down the drain, and you see it. That's kind of like what it's going to do. It's going to collapse and all that's going to come down. But the bad part of that is if it takes out that, there's underground. There is a theory that some of the vents from Yellowstone do go up into that area and do feed some of those volcanoes in that area. And it would be like in the wintertime, when so say this is going to be opposite effect. So say in the wintertime, your windshield is all full of ice, and you take a bucket of hot water and you throw it over it and it cracks it. That's what's going to happen, is that it's so hot underneath there and in those vents that when that cold water comes gushing in, it's going to expand into steam, and pretty much it's going to have a domino effect.
That's in an oil field perspective. I remember hearing because that's all. I don't know the reason why, but obviously because it's probably nice. But anything north of Colorado, especially like in the Rockies and like even the passes and stuff, they don't allow drilling up there. But those areas have probably some of the largest pockets of natural gas in the world, but you can't drill for it. Now, Yellowstone has like geothermal pools, right? But there is no equipment that, like geothermal energy, there is really no equipment to drill inside a geo pool and pull out that hot ass water, because there is no equipment that can sustain it. Like any kind of valves you have on like what they call a separator, it'll burn all that up. So there's there's a place called Rockefeller Refuge in South Louisiana, and there's a lot of oil pockets down there, but the salt water that you get with it is so hot that there is no production equipment made to withstand that temperature. So they won't. It's just a wellhead basically. They won't. It doesn't even flow. But anyhow, I'm just thinking like Yellowstone's geothermal meets those natural gas pockets in the mountains, like any kind of huge earthquake or explosion or whatever. That's all going to kind of like really come apart. Like kind of like the whole "there's no stone that won't be on top of another" kind of deal to me.
Funny you should say that, because if we go down the rabbit hole of the United States being the Holy Land, that area, that's pretty much what would happen, wouldn't it? No stone would be left.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, those geothermal pools and the natural gas deposits I mean, in my opinion, most of that was probably water, like even like Oregon and Washington, and then I'm talking about like a long time ago. Probably when we talk about the Egyptians coming over here, because they ended up right in the Grand Canyon right away rather than landing in California. So anyhow, I'm just thinking like a lot of that was probably water.
Well, California used to be, that was an island, wasn't it?
Something like that. I know, because I mean, people talk about like they used to drain it. It was drained a long time ago, and like prospectors will talk about draining and stuff. So I think my opinion is it's like, I think when Alexander Helios landed in the Grand Canyon, I think that California technically didn't exist. It was underneath the water.
Yeah. Hmm. I have so many rabbit holes that I want to go down for the rest of this year. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, anybody seen Dutch Sense? Anybody see Dutch? Anybody seen Michael?
What was it called?
His name is Dutch Sense. He's the guy that does the earthquakes. He warns us about the earthquakes that are coming. He's been around for years. Dutch Sense, Michael. He's MIA right now. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and he said that usually he would be live and running these earthquakes, giving out warnings. He's been great. He's been giving warnings for years.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's been spot on. I mean, literally spot on. The government hates him. They truly hate Michael because of the fact that he is spot on and he can predict these earthquakes. And so he has not been around the last couple of weeks. So I was just wondering if does he have a new channel? Am I missing something? Does anybody know where he is? Is he all right? Like his name's Dutch Sense. Yeah. So I thought it's quite interesting. Something this big, because Russia did get hit with an 8.8. And you said it was interesting where you said it hit.
Yeah, it says by a Russian submarine base, not far from it.
Interesting. Wow. He was on last night? Okay, cool. That's good because as of this, didn't his name change? I don't know. Did it? I like I said, I have not. I have my reasons, but I haven't followed them in a while. So, but somebody had just I was talking to him today. Take a look at this. This is Ring of Fire update. 315 earthquakes in the past 30 days of 5.0 magnitude or higher. Wow. 8.8 magnitude with a tsunami in Russia being the largest. 0 fatalities, luckily. This is a record month since we started keeping track. That's pretty wild. Wow. It was upgraded to an 8. Okay. 8.8. Yeah. We just have the 88. Yeah. They love those numbers, don't they? Interesting. I'm going to leave that up on the screen for a little bit. So,
a lot of coordinated earthquakes.
What's that?
A lot of coordinated earthquakes, it looks like. The way it's like, the areas of them, it's almost like a shape.
Yeah. Well, the Ring of Fire, it would be very easy for them to manipulate because it's so unstable. I mean, I wonder where the HARP platform is. I wonder where it is. Plus,
when you think of timeline, you'd almost have to write it down. Like, do they want to mirror Revelations? Do they want to take out a lot of people so they can get their DARPA plans, to take action? Because that before the end of this year, we're supposed to lose 33% of the population of America, right?
That's through what's that site?
DARPA, and also too, and then you hear, they want to enact their central bank digital currencies, but you can't really enact that, right? Because like the Guidestones, said you can only have 500 million total on the planet.
Yeah, man.
So I mean,
keep the population down to we know depopulation is real. I mean, we've got Bill Gates. I mean, he's talking about getting the carbon footprint down to 0. Deagle was the website, and it's not there anymore. They took it down. But Deagle said that we were going to lose 30% of our population by this year or next.
33.3% of Americans. That's the number they used.
Right.
And
I can't pull it up. Let me see.
And you had so you had Zabransky, the Council of Foreign Relations, talk about how one time you could use food to control 1 million people, but now it's easier to kill 1 million and not bother with them.
Yep.
it has switched, and these are the plans of these people. So, but it's like, which one are they going to do? Are they going to, are they going to go in a biblical route? And to me, you just don't have humans controlling this. There ain't no damn way. I don't think anybody's really who really wakes up, but unless you're influenced by an evil spirit, like an evil entity per se. Like, who really gets up and says, you know what, I'm going to start thinking about depopulation today? I don't think people really don't, give a crap about that. But obviously they have a handful of people that are, from these bloodlines or whatever it may be. But I just, what are they going to do? Because there's like, which ones are going to do it? Because there's so many different families, and they all want. It's kind of like, with Muhammad, like, whoever has the most DNA from Muhammad is the one that's in charge, like in Iran, or the mullahs and stuff. So which group is he going to be that's going to be like Lucifer's little pets? Because they all want to be the one to start, any kind of apocalypse.
In order to, this is just my opinion, but in order for them to be successful, I found the overlay. In order for them to be successful and carry out the plan of depopulation, it has to be a multi-front. I mean, it has to be different, weather, natural disaster, pestilence, war. I mean, I don't see them. I mean, I think 2020 was a test run to see what the world population, when we would start pushing back, who was going to be the troublemakers, who was going to fold and fall in line, who was going to push back. But I think that through the different programs that they have, that they could very well carry out the depopulation. I can't put it up on the screen, but if you look at the I want to say the guillotines, the numbers for the guillotines.
Yeah.
We supposedly have 30,000 guillotines.
Yeah, that was such a big story.
And right. And I did the math, and I have a meme. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up. I can't put our pictures that I have here. Let me see if I can download it. No, I can't download it either.
And the thing is about it, people used to laugh about that until, for sure, most of the states, like for sure Georgia, guillotine is in legislation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's also has a ICD-9.
It's got a code, right?
It's got a code. Yeah, they've got a code for it. It came out in Obamacare in 2013 or 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I did the math. Okay. So I did some research and I did the math. So say each guillotine, and I don't even know these numbers anymore. Like I said, I have a meme. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know what I'm talking about. So say we've got 30,000 guillotines. And guys, and that's why Obama brought over the foreign troops. He brought over the foreign troops when his high-ranking generals failed the litmus test. When he asked them, if I was to give the order for you to fire on American citizens, would you or would you not carry out those orders? And if they said no, they were gone. And if they didn't leave quietly, then you know what, they made a mess of their lives. One was accused of just horrible crimes, and then was accused of being an alcoholic, and I mean he ended up retiring. But anyway, so they brought over these foreign troops, Russian. There was Russians at the time in 2013. He brought them over because of the fact that he trained them to use the guillotines. And there was a soldier that had gone AWOL from one of the bases in Georgia, and he was riding the bus with somebody, and he was talking to the guy, and he was telling the guy that, I've seen these guys, they're training them on there. But say a guillotine can kill 3,000, 100, and this is just a number I'm throwing out there. say one guillotine could kill 100 people an hour. That doesn't really sound like a lot. So say 100 people an hour. In that 1 hour time frame, if you take 30,000 times 100, you get 3 million people in 1 hour gone. Times 24 hours, times how many days? We're talking bad numbers, guys.
Yeah, because those things are hydraulic. I mean, they were built, and it's not the old rope one.
Right. Or it's not, it's not the old rope one where, they have to, stop every couple of minutes and, sharpen the blade either, We're talking split second with precision. We're talking, scalpel precision. And guys, if you sit there and go, I want that, because you know what? I'll be dead instantly. Here's a little bit of a tidbit of information for you. Your brain lives for another 7 minutes. You're going to see your head hit the floor. Okay. And your brain lives for another approximately 7 minutes. So, yeah. So if you look at the numbers and you look at the capabilities of these things, and you got, come on, John, they're in for the long game. They're in it for the long haul. They're definitely patient. So they will wait and they will carry this out. And I do believe that a third, of the population will succumb to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way that it's mentioned. Is it the old? Are they mad because God said we're going to bruise a snake's head? You know what I mean? It's like, but those things are real. Like, I remember hearing that even before I even converted. Like, I'd hear those stories about like out of Fort Detrick. I don't know when that was open, or like Fort Dix and stuff. Like, those people said, they got these damn guillotines. Like, what's that for? These are on these bases and stuff. And I always thought, man, that's kind of weird. But I never really connected it because I didn't think about none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Georgia was the first state to actually put in the ICD-9s for them through the Obamacare.
Now, I do remember this story. In Fort Hood, the story goes there were 2 generals on a helicopter. Mm-hmm. And they were leaving Fort Hood, like kind of going over Temple, I guess, somewhere out that way from the base. And there was supposedly a ground penetrating radar that wasn't really known about, because they have it, but this stuff went like 40 stories deep, like you could tell. Anyhow, the one general says to the other, well, don't be looking at my screen because I can have you taken out for that. And then so the screen picks up this underground facility with railroad tracks, and there's like these corridors built, and the guy saw the guillotines on the screen, and the general told him, well, I could have you killed for seeing that. So they were, but that's how the story went. That really happened. Mm-hmm. And so underneath, and that doesn't surprise me at all, because that whole area of Texas underneath Fort Hood, that's a real mysterious place, if you ask me. Always some weird soldiers getting killed out of nowhere, and nothing's ever done about it. And so that place definitely something going on in that area of Texas.
Is that the area where there's a town, there's a hospital and like a few stores, but the majority of everything's underground?
It may be. I know, in my opinion, I've heard this once years ago. I heard that actually one of the largest Egyptian citadels from a long time ago, Incan, Toltec, Aztec kind of stuff, was under the ground there. That's because they don't build a military base just anywhere. There's always something.
Right.
There's something.
Well, look at what is it? Dulce.
The Dulce, yeah.
Dulce. Yeah. With Schneider. I mean, Schneider. If you were not to believe Schneider, you were thinking that he was a crackpot, which he's not. he was completely telling us exactly what happened to him and what he saw and what was going on there. It looks like very benign on the surface. Everything that happens is underground.
Right. And then people who live in those say they tell stories all the time to the news and nobody cares. But yeah, go visit that town and listen to people's stories. They'll tell you some, whatever. Just like that, the New Jersey Devil. Remember they found that little ugly little dog looking thing on the beach because it came from that Plum Island. I mean, they have all these experiments going on.
Montauk Monster.
Yeah.
Well, look at, I mean, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is supposedly the happenings of Montauk.
Yeah. So, I mean, these, stories can seem like, oh, they're just great science fiction. No, they just don't build stuff just to be like, oh, we got a good deal. And they build stuff because it's close to something.
Right. They build things. They have a purpose.
Fort Polk in Louisiana, I've been there many a times. And I just found out that they had this whole cave system, just like 4 miles out of the base, that have like these hieroglyphics that are, like known. I'm like, I never heard of that, but it's true. And it's a cave system in Louisiana with no water in it. And I'm like,
I was just gonna say they're all swamped down there.
Yeah, no, these cave systems have no water. And I'm like, what? How you can't bury your grandma in the ground in Louisiana. Right. But they have a cave system that has no water in it. Like, how? That's what I'm saying. That's what's weird about it. It's like, no, something's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you go out to all the major cities have underground, communities or underground.
Storage.
Just they have like underground societies down there. They're here in Chicago. I suspected, but again, Hurricane Ann did her due diligence, and when she was trying to write her book about Disney, and she was pulling up everything having to do with the World's Fair here in Chicago, she came up and she found out that we have there's an underground city here.
Well, you ever know what that place was? You ever seen a map of Chicago, like they called it something?
It was a Native American term that meant onion or something. What was here?
It was like a huge hub. It was like an ancient city.
Right. Yeah. It was. It meant onion. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah. So here they undertook a project that's supposedly like the biggest they've ever done. And what they did is they changed the way the Chicago River, the way it ran. So instead of running into the lake, Lake Michigan, it runs away from the lake. And they actually did that by digging underground and digging these tunnels and everything. So I mean, it is possible to have underground tunnels that don't contain water.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they say that the tunnel that connects Argentina to Antarctica, you could fly a 747 in it.
Did you see the video of that? That somebody was interviewing some guys that came from. Where did they come from? Like, I don't know. It was Africa. They came from Africa, and they said they walked to the United States.
Hey, that don't surprise me.
I'm gonna try to find that. Yeah, they said they walked. The lady that was interviewing, the guy person interviewing them, they said, "Yeah, how did you get here?" And they said, "We walked." And like, no, I mean, how did you? What airport did you fly into? He said, "We didn't fly in a plane." And she's like, "You didn't walk from Africa?" I was, "Yeah, we did." I'm like, okay. Immigrants.
There's no telling. I mean, if you look at, we know you have obviously have mileage, but what is it underneath the ground?
Right.
Because why would you have a Shinkana tunnel system that's built, now that they say is, oh, that's just fairy tale. I saw something about they were going after. You remember Anselm Rambla, that Spanish guy?
Mm-hmm.
They were going after him, like, I don't know, trying to put him in jail
For what?
because he won't shut up about that Shinkana he found. Remember, he found it at that church in that Santa Dominga. Remember, they let him dig underneath that church, and then the Vatican like fired that priest and told Anselm they'll destroy him if he comes back. But
Yeah, they
yeah,
took over. They took over the whole thing.
yeah, they did. The Vatican did, and I saw an article about it that they were. I don't know what he did. I don't know if they put like a gag order on him or something, but he released some photos, and they're like pissed because they're trying to put him in jail because he showed some photos of that Shinkana, because it was shaped like an A. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
it was the entrance to it or whatever, and it had like an A frame every so many. But he was saying how like there was no mortar and possibly earthquake proof, and I mean the tunnel went. They say the Incan said that it went from Peru to Bolivia, and then they even said even further that whole system connects the world. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how, but who's to say that underneath the ground that it's a long, you see what I'm saying? Like, how would we even know the shape? If we think it's flat, how do you know that it's not a shorter distance under the ground than it is between two masses on the surface,
Yeah, and if you believe that there are like Stargates, I mean, if
Or even, yeah, I mean, they got those two in Peru, like built in the side of them walls and stuff at Pumapunku. Like, I mean, who even knows? No, it's not going to be talked about, and people think, oh, that's just nuts. So I want my Masonic money.
you get paid in shekels. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think everybody's just caught up, and I get it. It happens to people, but just too caught up with the American system, and I think I'll be honest with you. I think that nothing else in the world happens like it does here. I mean, who even knows? Does anybody ever hear any stories? Like, I mean,
Well, I mean, if we hurt them, and the government gets wind of it, either they disappear
right? It's
or
like how do you? I'm still not convinced that what we see, unless it's like from a very trusted source. Like, how do we
yeah.
know that Ukraine ain't a parking lot already? Like, how do we even know
Right,
there?
right. Wag the dog. I mean, how do we even know there's even a war over there? Okay. I mean, how do we know? I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you really only see what the hell CNN shows you,
right.
and those people were clowns.
Yeah, you only see what's in your backyard. You seriously, unless you travel, you only see,
Yeah,
you know,
you know,
what's in your neighborhood, what's in your city, what's there. Everything else is shown to you on social media, and we know there's so many bots that's putting out just lies. I mean, how do we even know that Iran? That could have been all of, I mean,
anything's possible now. I mean, it's like it's you could run a game. I mean, it's a Truman Show kind of stuff. Truman had a whole
yeah,
world.
yeah,
They even know, he had a world within a world. But I mean,
yeah,
that's like reality. Like that can like you can control the environment. Like that's true.
exactly. I mean, like guys, the movie Wag the Dog. I mean, come on, they convinced people, that there was a war going on. I
Yeah,
mean, look at the first Gulf War. We found out later those guys weren't even there. Oh,
yeah,
there's rockets. We're gonna have to put our gas. They weren't even there.
yeah.
They're
Remember
in front of a green screen.
and those two little fake palm trees.
Right, right. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
It's like,
it
yeah,
was
like what is like why was that? What is that? Oh, they couldn't get into Iraq? No, probably not. They
well,
did, they
with
could
the
get.
technology they have, John. I mean, come on, look at the special effects that they do with movies right nowadays. I mean, if they can convince somebody who's sitting there watching a movie that they're in space for an hour and a half, they can pretty much convince Because I mean, look at what's that? Was what are they called? The actors that can't think of it right now. We did a big show about them. The GC.
Which were the crisis actors?
Yeah, crisis actors, but
Yeah.
they have the website where they literally have psychiatrists and psychologists working for them. They know the psyche and they know what to do.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, just like remember, yeah. We talked about
Crisis cast is what it is.
Yeah, they would bring in the counselors and
Yes.
they would convince the people who really saw stuff that they didn't.
That they did, or the opposite, that they did see something when they didn't.
That's right. Just like in Colorado, that theater stuff, they were like totally. And that lady, I'll never forget her name. Her name was Nicole Gallagher. She was a nurse in the emergency room, and she wouldn't go along with the counselors, the crisis counselors.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up in some lake over there in Illinois or something. Gone.
Yeah, she did.
But it's like she was asking. She said, "No, this is very weird." Like, but and like also too, like the Pulse nightclub, those people being shut up by counselors because they're like, "No, we saw the female in there, and she was the suicide bomber." Like that was never talked about, but it was there.
What they do is they take, because the human mind goes into a self-preservation, a self-protection mode when they see something that is so traumatic for the brain to process. So before the brain can process it, before the neurons, get all together and we go, oh, this is what you saw. That's when they swoop these people in and they manipulate them and gaslight them and completely, mind F them to the point where, they can convince somebody that, come on, if they could convince the world that a certain person killed a certain president.
Well, no doubt. And then, yeah, exactly. It just was just like I'm sure it happened in Afghanistan, but even the Iraqi war, they found out what happened after Saddam fell. Everything was kosher. It was all, hey, thanks, America. Okay, y'all can go now. Then what happened? They figured out that these people, you took out their power. They didn't have power anyways. You shot their neighbor. They see dead bodies every day.
Right.
It's like they don't get PTSD. Okay. And so as soon as the government can't like gaslight these people like, oh, isn't it bad that a lot of death? We don't care. We gonna sell the guns. Yeah. And then guess what? All of a sudden, they're insurgents.
Right.
It's true. They don't get their way though. Oh, they're insurgents. Oh, they're this, they're that, because they can't. Because your little monarch programming doesn't work for people who live in trauma.
Right. Right.
You
can't go born into trauma.
Personality of somebody already in trauma.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, well, they convinced the Libyans that Gaddafi had gassed his own people.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they just because they didn't like him.
Because they didn't like him. Because he was going to he was going to do something with the petrodollar.
Yeah.
They didn't like him. But the world was told that he was a bad person. He was a bad man. The United States has to go in and we have to change the regime. We have to take out the bad guy, and we're going to put a leader in that's on our side. So they went in, and what they did to him was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, and Libyans took part in that. What happened to them? Arab Spring came, and then ISIS took over, because that's us.
Yep.
And then they're like, well, wait a minute, we got rid of Gaddafi, because you told us that he was bad, but now you want our stuff. Just say it was always the same genre in the Middle East. Like, okay, no, we're taking them out now. We're going to take what you got. If you don't like it, then ISIS will show up.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like, it doesn't attack a certain country.
Exactly. It's when they took out Hussein, I'm sorry, but when you go into a country, you secure the government buildings first. You don't go to the museum.
Oh, no doubt.
You don't go to the museum and loot the museum. No, you go to you secure the government buildings first. Well, actually, when the UN goes into a country, do you know what the UN does when they go into a country? The first thing they do?
Probably go take the bank stuff.
The first thing they do is they take over the fancy hotels,
Yeah.
and then they secure the prostitutes.
I believe that. I remember the British when they because I remember the stories about the dinar, and I had quite a few of them, but the dinar was worthless, they told us, right? But before
but it was going to come back. They said it was coming back.
but the thing is, they took all them. They used American equipment. I remember they used what they called an LMTV, which was like a cab over truck, kind of a newer thing to us at the time, anyways. But anyhow, they used those, and they were like running through them through the banks and loading up the dinars. British people were like soldiers. Who even knows what they were? Probably contractors, but they used our equipment to do it. I remember there was dinars everywhere. And all that happened way before the shock and awe started.
Right. Yeah.
Just like the museum deal. You know what I mean? Like that stuff. you go get your gal with the egg, and then you go get your money, and then it's like, okay, y'all can do what y'all want.
Exactly. Speaking of people that are in charge and questioning their being taken out, you know that the New York City shooting from the other day, the Midtown Manhattan shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know who one of the victims was that he took out?
No.
You ready for this one?
Sure was somebody interesting.
Blackstone. She was tied to Blackstone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was an executive. They included a Blackstone executive and Cornell graduate was taken out by that.
Well, you know, I guess the cover story is that he was trying to go to the NFL office because he had CTE.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
And then
I don't believe he was. I don't believe that for him. I had.
no doubt.
I think he got who he was looking for.
That's the cover. Yeah, he went straight to the 33rd floor and found her.
Yeah, right, he found her. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh because it's horrible. I mean, it's absolutely just disgustingly horrible. But the fact that, so it says here, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said Tuesday on CBS Mornings that investigators recovered a note in which the gunman, 27-year-old Shane Tamura of Las Vegas, appeared to blame his own traumatic head injury on the National Football League, despite never playing in the league. The NFL has offices in the building at 345 Park Avenue where the rampage took place, which investigators believe that he was targeting. Okay. But he ended up killing Wesley LePrater. And Wesley worked for the global investment firm for more than a decade of Blackstone. And let me put a picture of her up here. This is her.
Yeah, the black cube of Saturn, and that's what they call it. Same thing.
Yeah, here she is. This is Blackstone. Credit to Blackstone. This is her employee. Yeah, she was an executive of Blackstone. So, I mean, it's what I just read. So he blames his traumatic head injury on the National Football League, but yet never played for the National Football League. So what was his real motive in?
Well, yeah, well, no, what does she know?
Right. Or what was she doing? Exactly. Hey, Ernie.
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up? How are you?
Doing well.
Doing all right.
Awesome. Told you I had a funny story to tell you when I saw you.
Uh-oh.
Guys, we're gonna get off the topic for just a minute because so I decided that I was going to do something and for a promo for Global Watchman News to put out on the internet. And I needed something that had both mine and Ernie's image on it, along with possibly a new logo for us. So I asked my chat about my AI. I sent him a picture of myself and I sent him a picture of Ernie to make this for us. And so, hold on just a minute. Let me pull it up. Okay, so the first image that that he gives us, 1 second, is this one here, Ernie. We look like we're about 90.
I don't think my wife will be happy seeing this picture. It looks like we're a couple.
I wanted it so we were together, but this is not what I had in mind when I so, but this is the first one. Okay, it gets better, guys. Hold on. So this is the first one. I said, can you do something about it? We look like we're about 90. Okay. So he goes, okay. Well, he puts up this one, and I'm like, it doesn't even look like me. Come on. I was like, can you make me look like the picture? So he comes back with this. I said, that doesn't look like either one of us. And he's like, oh, you're right. You are absolutely right. So he pulls up. 1 second. So he pulls up this one. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. That's not the one. Hold on. I don't know. So he pulls up another one. I don't know. So then I came to the end of my my free thing on my iPhone. So I went to my Android phone and I asked him. I was like, I gave him the same two pictures. So he makes this one. And I was like, why am I on there twice? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I was like, okay. So then he comes back with this one. And I was like, I like this, but that looks nothing like me. I look like the chick from the Roseanne show.
Why is my forehead so big?
I don't know. Okay. So then he made another one that had like he had I don't have it here, but it was a shirt that I didn't like. And I said,
hey, I got me looking like an Anunnaki or something.
I know,
man.
right?
Come on.
So I said, I like this shirt. So can you put a sleeveless black shirt on me? I said, and that'd be great. Comes back with this. I said, oh my God. I was like, can you put a dress shirt on him, please? And put the black shirt on me?
Use that photo, Lori.
That's seriously right. So I'm talking to Ann, and she says she gets to her AI, and her AI came up with this one. And I said, that's not it either. I said, Ernie's taller than me. So I don't know, Ernie.
Wow. I look way better than that dude.
Right? I look way better than her. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyways,
and why is AI making us look like we're the same age?
Look, you know what? I don't know.
I told you, leave AI alone. It doesn't know what it's doing. One thing.
Apparently
Get
not.
off the AI, Lori.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I thought that was hysterical. I just had
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Yes, he's saying quit talking to AI.
I know. Hey, look it. I don't. You want? Oh, you should. Ann and her AI.
Well, I love the leather shirt that I got the other day, last week.
You what?
The AI picture of me last week in my leather shirt.
It did. Yeah. But green is your color.
AI did John good.
It did. Yeah, he did you John good. I think he did. I don't know.
But
anyway.
I think I'm going to pull the race card. I think AI is a little racist.
Hey, I mean.
Because he completely depicted me out of pocket. And I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna. Hey, you're gonna take that up with Josephus. That's her. That's Ann's AI. I have not named my AI. I'm not that close to my AI. Matter of fact, my AI and me have literally a hate relationship because he'll do this. He'll purposely. I swear it's purposely. He will purposely F up my pictures for me. And then tell me I've got to wait 24 hours because I'm too cheap to upgrade. Basically, that's what he tells me. That I'm too
That's
cheap to upgrade.
that's crazy weird.
You
Yeah.
might need to talk to Grok or something. See, see what Grok has to say.
I don't know, man, but I want to. Can I talk to your manager, please? You know, whatever. Anyways, so
I didn't know your name was Karen.
it's not Sharon either. Okay, uh, ain't Karen and it ain't Sharon.
Just use the one with y'all with the sleeveless shirts on. That's funny.
Oh Lord, I was like, oh my God, why do you
Hey
have
John,
him in a woman's
all AI
shirt?
needs to do is put us in a with a barn in the background, give us two
Two
pitchforks, and we'll be all
pitchforks.
set.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just too funny. That is hysterical. Anyways, so have you been listening to the show so far?
Bits and pieces. I was in and out of reception. I did hear y'all talking about the earthquakes a little bit and the tsunamis and stuff. And before the service cut off, Big John was talking about the location of that earthquake, and I completely lost track of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now, John, do you know, was that the epicenter? Was the
Well, I don't
submarine yard the epicenter?
pretty close to
Wow. I wonder if Russia accidentally went oops and pushed the button on themselves.
Well, they got those Poseidon torpedoes.
Yeah. Yeah. They sure do.
I wonder if we have them too.
I'm sure we get. There ain't no telling what we got. They play around, but
yeah, they portray us not having the technology or anything like that. You know dang well we got the technology.
oh, we're the first ones to get the fallen technology for sure. I think what started the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't believe the media one bit. Oh, we're so behind in the AI race. Oh, we're so behind in this and so behind that.
No.
Come on now.
Yeah. All right. Come on. Yeah, I'm not buying it either. I mean, they've got the technology that we wouldn't even. I don't know. It's just to me, these phones that they give us. People stand in line for days on end to get the new iPhone. The new iPhone 45 is out. People are like,
They transition, Lori. Correction. They transition over to Switch 2s.
What are you talking about?
People don't stand in line for iPhones anymore, or any phone rather. They stand in line for Switch 2s.
What are those?
The Nintendo Switch 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just came out like a month and a half ago.
I've been kind of busy. Yeah.
And yes, I do have two birds, and they're downstairs, and they're loud as ever right now.
I don't hear them.
Two cockatiels.
Yeah. I locked my cats out of here tonight. I was like, no way in heck you guys are coming in here. Heck no.
What was it last week? They were all jumping all over you.
Freaking heathens, I swear. Good Lord.
I keep telling you, cats are the devil.
Telling you. Did you? Yeah, Edgar Casey tried to warn us. I'm telling you, he did. But yeah, no, I locked him out. I had to. Miss Hazel, she'll come in here and she'll talk up a storm. She won't even give me I can't even get a word in edgewise with her. She just blah blah blah. Yeah. And Jack, he's like a toddler in a he's the one that spilt my drink 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm glad it was. But anyway, so yeah, birthing pangs. We are definitely, no matter where we are on the timeline, whether it's real, whether it's made up, whether it's whether we're in the little season, whether we're not, whether we're it doesn't matter. We've been saying for years that they're using the Book of Revelation as a playbook, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing being played out.
Yeah, and there's some people that are saying, "Oh, this is not the birth pains because people are using by a playbook." What people don't understand is they wouldn't be able to play out the Book of Revelation if God didn't allow it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Nothing happens without his approval.
If
exactly.
So I haven't really, and I know what it is. Like, yeah, obviously, after when it says Satan is loosed from his prison or whatever for a short time, how long is that short time? Was that
We
was that
don't
ever?
know. We don't know what the short time is. I was listening to somebody the other day, and the census is that it all depends on us. It all depends on how humanity embraces the evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when so he's released out of his prison, right? After the 1,000 years of peace, is that his short season, right?
Yes, a short season or the little season. Yes.
So before all that happens, it says that he'll be cast down by Michael out of heaven permanently, and the whole world will see him, and then but he has a short time and he'll have great wrath. So like
Yeah, he's released for a short time where he'll deceive all nations.
that's what I'm saying. Like if okay, so that's after 1,000 years, right? So that's basically the end of the Bible, right?
Correct.
So where do you think that he fell already? Because it says everybody on earth's going to see him.
Yes.
He would have had to have fell
Yes.
because the
But who? But
sin
like,
is in this
what
earth.
think? Did he
I mean, we
fall like?
going back to the book of Genesis, and when the Garden of Eden happened, obviously you even talked about this. That's well before Adam and Eve, when that great war, and he came
No, no,
down.
no. Like, okay, here's the thing. He got cast out billions of years ago, right? Him and all the angels, whichever ones want to go with him. But the Revelation says he can still accuse us in heaven, and then Michael throws him out permanently because he can
That's
go.
not okay. Yeah. Okay. So what happens is that so his original fall, was before Earth was even created, before Adam and Eve were even created, is when the original fall, along with the third of the angels. Then he gets bound, and he can only do things from like the spiritual realm. Okay, and that's because he's got his demons, which were created. The disembodied demons were created through the Nephilim. There was no demons walking the earth before that time. They were created through the Nephilim. If you look up what disembodied demons are, they're demons that had once had bodies, and now that they don't, and they're the ones that are going to reanimate things in the end. Whether it's human bodies, I don't know what it is going to be. But anyway, so he has his demons doing his work, okay, and he's bound up. Then after the 1,000 years, okay, so before the millennium, so before the second coming, before because a lot of people have it, and I will get better with this because I have my notes and I'm just getting into this whole topic, but a lot of people think that Gog and Magog and Armageddon are the same, but they're not. They also think that I'm trying to think. So when he takes them and puts it for the 1,000-year reign. Oh, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people have it confused that the 1,000-year reign, because in the Bible and even in the Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So he's bringing his kingdom here to earth. He's going to be ruling from earth, not from heaven. A lot of people think that, we're all going to get our old bodies and we're all going to go fly up and we're going to be with Jesus in heaven and that's where we're going to reign. No, the 1,000 years is going to take place here on earth. We're still going to be on earth. And that's why a lot of people think that Tartaria, all these buildings, these buildings were built in a short period of time with no modern equipment to a fraction of a millimeter that is needed to give us free electric to be healing in the frequencies. If you play music, you know that if it's off even just a little bit, you don't have that frequency. You don't have that tone that you need to heal or to whatever you're doing. You need that tone. It has to be precise. Okay. And they're building these along, well, outside there's buggies and horses carrying their equipment. And here's another question is, why were all these buildings built with no bathrooms? Well, angels don't need bathrooms.
If so, and correct me if I'm wrong. So I always thought the 1,000 years of peace was after Armageddon, and if you survived Armageddon, because people can.
Yes. So Armageddon. Okay.
You have a regular body. You're still who you are, but the people who died, didn't they get a transcendent body? And you have to make a pilgrimage to Jesus?
In 70 AD, when the city of Jerusalem was surrounded, and when the Romans came and took down the temple, Josephus and two other historians, credible historians at that time, all three of them have separate accounts of what they saw, and they saw Jesus and soldiers and warriors fighting in the sky.
Yeah.
I
always, there's something about me, like I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but everything that I hear that comes from America, just I don't believe any of it. Like and the thing is because my eyes were open to, like, every story is like westernized. Like it just like you can't find this like where the stuff happened at. Israel is, I always thought these cool things, but it's like, they don't even want you over there if you believe in Jesus. Like they spit on you and stuff. It's like that's how I feel. Everything is fake to me, because you can see these videos of, like, what they show you on TV ain't what really happens, because people are getting kicked and they spit on you because you're a Christian and all this other stuff. And then you hear these stories from people in America about, well, like, just say the Gnostic Pope guy, like, this season happens now, and then we've already went through, but like, it's like, where was peace at for 1,000 years? Like, if Jesus was down here with us, for 1,000, when does this 1,000 years end? You said 78?
No, it's when it started, supposedly in 70 AD. I don't, what? Here's the thing: is I don't have the answers for you right now. I'm still trying to put it into some sort of form of looking at it, researching it, putting it up against historical data that we have, and whether I may come back in a month when I present the whole thing and be like, what, guys, we're not in
yeah. I mean, okay. Like I said, it could be anything, right? It could really be. It's just my opinion that I've only seen turmoil. Like I've traced back, like, my family a long ways back. Literally from the paperwork from like the 1500s, and their journey from New York, Illinois down to Texas. There's lots of, it's all there. It's just they weren't like, what I mean? It wasn't like great people per se.
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just think, like, where, when I hear people say, well, I just think it's too much based like an American taught history. Like I don't know. That's just me though. That I like, because they'll tell me, oh, Columbus was a bigot and he was a racist and he was this and that. But why would the guy write a book and talk about all these weird things? You know what I mean? Like, why would he say that? Was he trying to save face by telling us that, oh no, they got these guys with dog heads, or they got, black people, or they got Egyptians. Like, that's what he said. He said all that's already here. So it's like everything's so distorted. So when I hear about, well, if it comes from like an American person or like an influencer or whatever, I'm just like, no, America's really been after people for a long time. Like we've been doing some pretty bad things to people, and it's all coming out. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
you can't deny that America hasn't been involved since, like, like civil wars even bad. You know what I mean? Like, that was a total Luciferian operation going on, like that killed 5 generations of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, this is all preteristic, isn't it? Thinking that we're already in 1,000-year reign, but the fact of the matter is, when you really look at things, the whole world has been in turmoil ever since Jesus pretty much left the earth. And so that kind of, to me, in my opinion, that kind of negates any claim that we are in 1,000-year reign.
And again, like I said, I'm looking at all of these things. I'm looking at everything. I'm also looking at the phantom time theory, where it's saying that 1,000 years was added onto us, and that some of these things didn't happen, or some things happened that they didn't report. So I'm literally looking at everything before I come on and and present it as being fact. Regardless of whether we are or we aren't, there's things that people are talking about that definitely hold water. I mean, when you look at Matthew 24 and you look at the words of Christ, where he says that some of you will not taste death before I return. I mean, if we think that he didn't come back during their lifetime, I don't know. It seems slippery. It's like a slippery slope to me.
Well, we also got to keep a watchful eye on things, because the tactics of the enemy is to cause confusion. Exactly,
and that's what I don't want to do. That's why I said I want to make sure that everything's in order, and talking about that. But I also want to make sure that the eschatological part of it, the timeline that I'm going to present here, is accurate. And a lot of people don't understand that Armageddon and the Battle of Gog and Magog are 2 different battles.
Right.
Okay.
And that is definitely true.
Okay. Yeah. And there's, so when I'm looking into this, I'm kind of going down these side tracks. One being that there's been 2 fallen angels. The first one was before Adam and Eve. That was Lucifer, and the third of the angels that fell. The second one was the Watchers. The Watchers came and they fell. Okay. One was a spiritual battle. The other one was a physical, because it was lust and was all this other stuff. So we're going to present that as a side. It's going to be a standalone video. Also, another one that's going to be standalone is going to be Armageddon and Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog are. Gog is the leader of a country, and Magog is a country. So it's not like Gog and Magog are coming against Israel. It's Gog is led. Gog is the leader. Magog is the country.
You know that's the name of the London Bridge, the 2 towers in London Bridge. Gog and Magog is the names of those towers because those are 2 giants.
Yes.
London. Right, that's the original thing, but I mean, it has them in the Ezekiel. But I thought that was kind of crazy that it was the names of 2 giants in British history.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to keep in mind too, and I've been meaning to bring this up for quite a while. Now we know Jacob, which was the final one that God gave the covenant to for his descendants to inherit God's promise, right? And Jacob's name was changed into Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we look at scripture, and it talks about biblical prophecy, talking about that where Gog and Magog raging war against Israel. Now, one thing we got to keep our eye on is whether or not it's the country that has been reborn out of the Balfour Declaration, or is actually the people, the descendants of Israel, the people who have been grafted into Israel's family. Because anybody who's saved, they're added onto the branch of life through Israel. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
Right, exactly. Somebody says
little food for thought for you.
Yeah, Val says 1,000-year reign is after the New Jerusalem comes down. No, the 1,000-year reign. The 1,000-year reign. New Jerusalem comes after the 1,000-year reign. It says the New Jerusalem, it descends after the 1,000-year reign of Christ during the eternal state, not before. Specifically, the New Jerusalem comes down to the new heavens and the new earth after the millennial reign. So that would be after Satan's little season and after the Battle of Armageddon. After the Battle of Armageddon, which is the final battle comes after the 1,000-year reign, but it comes after Satan's little season, and then after Satan is cast out forever. That's when New Jerusalem comes down. Now, guys, I'm going to put out something. I think I talked about this before. With John before we went live. I happen to think that the Vatican is using the telescope to watch for New Jerusalem.
I believe you're right. And I believe you have the evidence to prove it.
I'm not going to put that out there right yet. Shh. But yes, I do.
I always thought they were watching for Lucifer to fall out of heaven through the portal.
No, they're watching for New Jerusalem.
That's CERN. I mean, they already got that on lock, John.
Yeah. That's what I mean. A lot of people have the eschatology part of these end times, kind of, confused, and they don't have them in chronological order. And I myself didn't even know until just recently that this is the way it went. It goes this, and this, and this. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting topic because, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of evidence to support this theory, but I can't get past the logic that I'm looking at it logically, like you guys are. I can't get like, if I can't get past a question that I have, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to be like, look, I got to this part. This was my stumbling block. This is what I can't get past, and hopefully, through all of us when we present this, through all of us as a community, can answer the questions or find the answers and get this done once and for all.
Like two things on my mind are every other story goes into detail or it's harped about in the scripture, right? But Satan's little season is just like, it's just written in how short is that? Like, why aren't there any details about it? It just says, oh, we let Satan go.
We don't know. That's just it. I mean, originally when I first went into this research, John, I assumed, and this was just my assumption, that Satan's little season was 1,000 years. I don't know why. I think I may have heard that from a pastor in the past or from something, but something put it in my head that, after the 1,000-year reign, Satan's loose for another 1,000 years. But
that's a long time. Like, if you come from peace, and it's like, to me, isn't that like okay, we just got done having 1,000 years of peace with the Lord. He's going to let Satan out for 1,000 years. Isn't that kind of like well, let me see if you're going to act bad, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just one of those things I really have to, and I hope I would love, talk to you about when you get stuff together. Cause I just think that there's just not enough detail about it. Like in the scripture, it just says, hey, we let him out. Is it that important, or is it like a final test? Or to me, if you have 1,000 years of peace with the Lord, and then he tricks you and says, okay, I'm gonna let Satan's ass out, so I'm gonna see if you're gonna do something with him. You know what I mean? Like, That
Are
just
you talking about the reign of the Antichrist?
no, because you
Devil in
said
the flesh?
that
Or are you talking about after
the
Jesus,
1,000 years
the
of
second
peace,
coming?
right? Yeah, the millennial reign or whatever. And it says he let Satan out. But to me, it's like two things to me. Either it's not that important because there's no detail. He talks about everything else. He
Mhm.
details everything else, but then he's like, I'll let Satan out for a little while, and nothing's ever said. And then
Just a couple days, just a
yeah,
little minute.
there's nothing really set up. There's no kind of parable to it. There's no details. There's no
That's because it depends. As I said, I mean that what I've heard, because I asked this question to many people that I've had this conversation with over the past couple weeks. Like I said, guys, I'm new. I'm just a baby in this. I'm just now looking into this. Like I've been home for a very short period of time, and it's only been in the last couple weeks that I've gone back into my research mode. So it hasn't been very long. But I've asked these people these questions, and I've been writing the questions down, John, that you asked, and what Val said in the chat room about New Jerusalem. I've put these questions down to ask these people, that have been doing this a lot, looking into this a lot longer than I have. I don't know. I was told when I asked this person about how long it was, because I said, I can't find anything in the Bible that supports any length of time. And he said to me, that's because it depends on humanity, because he's loosed for a short season to deceive the nations of the world, to gather everybody together for the final battle. Because he knows he's done. He knows that he's gone.
yeah.
And it's his last ditch effort to take people with him. And in his short season, you're going to see deception like you've never seen before. And I think that that's where they're talking about when they talk about how even the elect can be deceived. Because I think that in that last ditch effort, you're talking, he knows he's done, but he's going to take as many souls as he can with him in that short period of time. He's got to up his game like no other.
And who said that?
I think I can't remember who I was talking to. I've talked to the Gnostic Pope. It might have been him, or it might have been Tony, because I've talked to him too. I'll find out who it was, and
Yeah, and that guy does a lot of research, and
yeah.
where I come from, and like I said, this is just me, and I come from when I say, like, I think that America is like just one big, I think History of Babylon is just one big trick to me, because kind of like the whole rapture thing, whether it's whatever part it is, or whether it's there or not, I look at how, like, the Holocaust, or even it go further, the Yazidis, that was totally real. And I ain't saying Holocaust wasn't real, but I mean, I'm saying the Yazidis, I know for a fact that I wasn't around 1940s, but I know the Yazidis who were killed in the 2010s and above, those Yazidis they had been around that, that group of people, of Christians, since Jesus walked the earth. The Yazidis go way further than us.
Mm-hmm.
And they were slaughtered on the mountainsides in Iraq and Syria. Horrible things were done to them. I'm talking about not just, oh yeah, I mean, crimes are horrible, but I'm talking about like some disgusting satanic things done to children. It don't matter, all of them, men, women,
Mm-hmm.
children. So here's where I come from with it. Where was their saving? Where was their rapture at?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Americans tell me, I know what Americans do. Not everyone does this, but the culture that we come from and what's available to us, everybody's on Snapchat sending nasty shit. Everybody's on doing this, doing that, whatever. It's like, to me, it irks me, because I'm thinking, these people talk about, like, the Lord's going to come down and take us up. And I'm not saying everybody don't deserve it. Okay. They got some good people out there. Okay. But I'm just saying, why would he wink, like give us the wink, like, I'm gonna get y'all before anything bad happens, but he won't do nothing about them?
Right.
That's where I come from with it. That's why I say I just don't totally believe everything I hear out of Babylon.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, totally. I mean, I know exactly what you're saying, and I feel the same way when I see people talking about, they got this special golden ticket that's going to get them out of what's coming. We were appointed that we're not going to go through wrath, but we're going to go through tribulation. We are absolutely 100%. If we think that we've got a golden ticket or a secret way out of here, that would put us that we're actually above Christ, because God didn't come down and rapture him up either.
Well, you're right.
God didn't rapture Noah.
I just trying to establish, where everything comes from, because it's a hard thing. It's probably why they call it a deception, right? Whatever.
Exactly.
But it's just to listen, like, oh no, this is happening, and oh, this is Tartaria, oh, this is this is that.
Well, I think we can all agree that the Tartaria. I mean, we've got proof that Tartaria existed.
Right? Yeah.
That's proof.
The orphan train, and it's just
we got proof of the orphan trains. We got proof of the incubator babies. We got proof of all. That is solid historical proof, and we've got buildings that have J's. They're not ones. It's not. Wasn't built in 1649. It was built in 649. Where's those 1,000 years? Why did you add 1,000 years to our history? That didn't happen.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. That is that all true. And it's just like, where is that? Where did it happen? Because like I said, I can go back and I know the names of all my relatives. It's like that they existed, and it's like, but where were they doing? Like, what? And I know where they come from. From New York to Illinois to Texas. It's like, they ain't Illinois, of course they might have had something there at that time, but Coleman, Texas, that area nowadays is very mysterious. And I don't know, are these people call them places? I don't know the deal, but just like I used to say about how, they don't build places for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, they know where they're putting it at. I think that same goes for like bloodlines or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I mean, yes, it was. The rapture ideology was created in the 1850s. Yes, it was by Darby and Schofield. Those are the two main culprits for that rapture theory.
I could be totally wrong. I just think I look at it like realistically, because I don't know. Everything's pretty real to me. You know what I mean? Everybody's got problems and stuff, and I ain't saying it's everybody, but I just think that everything is too damn. Mystery Babylon got its damn hands in everything.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Hearing all this stuff, and even from, I mean, what I disclosed, I felt that was from the Lord, and it was. I mean, I don't care. TikTok, when I first saw it, all my friends were at the shop there, and I'm like, "What do y'all?" It was a bunch of people dancing on there. I'm like, "What is that?"
Yeah, that's when I saw it too. It was a bunch of people dancing. Yep.
Interesting. I was like, that ain't.
Yeah, I looked at it for 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, not for me. I put it away for another 2 years. I think it was almost 2 years.
And then they started. I remember when I had to ramble for 3 minutes. That's all you really. I think it might have been at the time, but I know it went to 3 minutes or whatever. But
I think I got on there when it was like you had a minute, and I was like, I can't. Everybody was like, get on, you make videos for TikTok. I was like, I can't say what I got to say in a minute. I can't do that.
That was 2020. I was in New Mexico making 1 minute TikToks and. But yeah, so.
Gosh, yeah. No, I mean, you think I'm ruffling feathers with this? Wait till I get into the other one, which I'll probably not do until probably the first of next year. But I'm going to get into the whole Gnostics teachings too. Find out about their teachings. I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to dig into that one in the Nag Hammadi.
Ernie must have fed them birds.
Nah, I mute myself. They're quiet, but I can hear them downstairs. Yep. See, they're starting. They hear my voice. So.
I do. I hear them. Yeah, mine. I hear mine outside my door. Every once in a while, I'll look over and I'll see a paw coming underneath the door.
Yeah. Let them birds out. They're gonna fly at you.
Heathens. So. But now we're going to be digging into a lot of things. I know John. I want to let John do his Mars. We're going to look into Mars.
Yeah, Mars. Yeah, Mars. That's such a mind blowing thing, and the fact that, in my opinion, that's where I think the Garden of Eden was on Mars.
Now, okay. What was Tiamat?
What is it now?
What was Tiamat? Tiamat was Earth, right? Was the planet before Earth, right?
Oh yeah.
So Tiamat. So did the whole Mars thing happen while it was still Tiamat, or was it after Earth was created?
Well, Tiamat was before the angelic war, like Billy Carson. You'll call it the second pyramid war, but it's after the angelic war. The flood of Jeremiah describes it. Jeremiah describes that war. So there were 3 wars. So it was Tiamat before the war, and then after Jeremiah saw that destruction, that's when the Lord. We start the Bible from there. He comes back and let there be light, and it says the earth was without form and void. Well, that's
right.
It became like that. It wasn't. It was like that for a long time. It was closed off from everything.
Right.
Anyhow, Mars was the second war. Rahab was the first. So everything came from Rahab. Whether it wasn't Adam, but they had different things that inhabited Rahab. It wasn't man in his image, but it was different, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mars, and then the flood of Jeremiah was a third war, and then he opened it up, and then we read, "Hey, I make Adam the tiller of the earth in the image of me."
Okay, so this is kind of so before Adam, if you want to go back, because the Bible is only the history of humanity, of those created in God's image. Okay, just so everybody knows before they go, oh my God, it's not in the Bible. It's not true. The Bible only is our history of man, of us created in God's image. There's other things and other things that He's created that were before us. Okay, so there was, and this goes back to the Gnostics. They believe that there was that Yaldabaoth, and actually it was Yaldabaoth, created a humanoid called Adama. Now, would that be on Rahab?
Yeah, it was a pre-Adamite. Could be humanish. I mean, that's the thing, because I think it might have been bipedal, because the serpent in the garden was bipedal. And the Dendera temple of Hathor in Egypt has the damn thing on the wall. It's on the hieroglyphs. Like, that's what was in the garden. If you ever go look at that picture of the hieroglyph from the Dendera temple of Hathor, that's him. That's what talked to Eve. It's on the wall. It's a picture of it. Mm-hmm. But there were, human to me is like arms and legs to them. Like, that's, it walks like us, but doesn't look like us. Literally, in my opinion, and I mean, there's nothing else really to say, but Adam was the first thing. He was a tiller of the earth and put into the garden, but it was in the image of God, and we look like Adam. So I think whatever it was before might have been human in a sense, but
whatever was created before did not have the spark of the divine spark like we have.
Yeah, like it was just. And I mean, if you read Genesis, doesn't it say before Adam was created, it says God made man and woman? Doesn't it say that? It tells you that before the story of Adam.
Yeah.
God created man.
Yeah, that's another thing people are gonna be like, oh my God, what is she doing? You know what? I want to know.
But yeah, so the Gnostics.
Hey, if you guys don't believe me, go watch Stranger Things. That's Yaldabaoth. That is the demiurge in Stranger Things is Yaldabaoth, who was created by Sophia.
If you say humanoid, I'll tell you what. If you go watch Katy Perry's Alien music video, that'll tell you exactly what they think.
Yeah, right. Oh, good Lord. Anyways, well, guys, we're gonna shut this down early. I was just sent a message that my husband's dropped a glass in my living room, and there's glass all over my floors. And my cats are going to get into it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He had a glass of wine with dinner, and he just messaged me and said that he went to move it off his chair, and he dropped it on the floor and broke it.
Before we go, can I Can I lead in prayer? Obviously,
Absolutely.
so much stuff that's going on right now. I just think we need God's intervention in our lives, and we definitely need His wisdom on what we should do, what we should look for,
It's protection.
what should we sound the trumpet on, because there's so much stuff that we're going on. Obviously, we've discussed quite a few. I mean, obviously you did before I came on, but there's just so much more and just coming at us from all directions, and we just need to find that steady path, and we just need God's divine intervention and His guidance on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it away.
Dear Heavenly Father, the Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we come to you with heavy spirits right now, God, and just see so much stuff going on. These over 200 earthquakes within the past 30 days, and it just seems like the earth is groaning and tsunamis occurring, volcanoes erupting, fires is happening in so many different places, and violence is on the increase. And God, we wholeheartedly believe that we're in the beginning of the birth pains, God, and we just need you, God. We're just looking for your divine love and your guidance on what we should do as your church, God, because we can't do this on our own. I mean, the stuff that's happening and the stuff that is going to happen, you said in the scripture that the hearts of men can grow cold from what is about to happen, God. And we just need you to just continue to just remind us that you are in control, that your divine presence and grace and mercy has shown time and time again that you are with us, just like you led the Israelites out of Egypt. God, you're going to lead us into the promised land when Jesus comes back down on this earth, for the 1,000-year reign. To those that who believed in him and gave his life to him, that he is going to reward us greatly. And God, and those who are preparing for the worst, God, I just pray that you continue to remind them that the treasures that is here on earth, they're going to pass away, and the treasures that you have for us is far greater than anything that we can ever imagine. As long as we can continue to put our trust in you, God, if we can continue to ask for your hedge of protection over us, God, as we continue to spread your gospel to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, because they need to hear this message, God. They need you in their lives. And we know we can't reach everybody. We know the hearts of many has grown cold in this world, just as you predicted. God, just give us the courage to just plant those seeds to those people, because God, times are getting tougher. Times are tough right now. We just pray for your intervention, God. We pray for Sister Lori and Brother John as they continue to do their research. God, I just pray that you continue to guide them and give them the knowledge that you intend for them to learn, and for us to come back together to be able to shine a light on what's really going on in this world. The stuff that these evil people are hiding from us, God, we need to know. Because you said that the beginning of knowledge starts with you. And it starts in the scripture. It starts with spending time with you. And God, I just pray that you continue to educate us, continue to minister to us, continue to shield us. And we love you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, John, for joining me tonight, for taking the co-pilot seat for the first hour and a half. I appreciate it.
No problem. I forgot to say he was your old pal back again.
I know you did. We're gonna have to put that in our intro or something. Ernie, I'm glad you got to join us for the last little bit.
Yeah, it was great. My oldest daughter got her first job, and she works on Wednesdays, so I had to go pick her up. She's so excited about it.
That's great. I remember my first job. Wow, to be young again.
You are young. Shh. Nobody needs to know you're old.
Looking at the pictures, no, I'm not. Anyways, so we still don't have an outro, guys. I'm working on it. Apparently, because Microsoft isn't giving us support anymore for our computer. I don't even know. I'm trying to find a video maker so I can get our outro done. But so we don't have an outro. But I just do want to thank everybody. Thank you, John, for joining us as always. I want to thank all of our everybody in the chat room, all of our moderators. And we will be back next week. Hopefully, just a minute. You know what? Joy, Dr. Joy, when is she going to be here? Dr. Joy will be with us on this Sunday, August 3rd. Dr. Joy joins us live in the studio. And she's got a lot of things that she wants to talk about as well. That was me. That wasn't the cat. She wants to talk about, she's interested in talking about Elon Musk and his black eye. She wants to talk about some Eastern issues, UFO issues, AI gone wild, and some things going on with AI imitating Marco Rubio. I don't know about that, but I guess she wants to talk about that with us too. So we're going to have a good show on Sunday night. So, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us. As always, remember, eyes open, no fear. Till next time, see you later.
Good night, everyone.